Patrick, grab a parka. An Arctic blast has made its way to Texas in what will be the final home game here at Old Floyd Casey Stadium. As you mentioned, the big news around the Big 12. Oklahoma now leads Oklahoma State 27-24. A Sooner win would derail the Cowboys' conference title hopes, giving Baylor a chance to win the Big 12 outright in a BCS Bowl bid. It's Texas and Baylor. Yes, it's tradition, the Baylor line, and it's the final time for the freshman class here at Floyd Casey Stadium. Craig Bullerjack, Joey Harrington, Ryan Neese on a cold day in Waco, Texas. For Texas, a roller coaster season under Mac Brown. Baylor, high scoring and a chance to win the Big 12 title and go to a BCS Bowl. You can't draw it up any better as this crowd is ready to rock and roll on a Saturday afternoon here in Waco, Texas. Craig Bullerjack, Joey Harrington, Ryan Neese will join us in just a moment. There's so many stories that surround this game. One being Mac Brown's future at Texas. The other, the final game at this old Floyd Casey Stadium, but yet we got a football game to play.
Well, yeah, emotions, emotions, emotions all over the place. And I think the key today is which team is going to control their emotions in this big environment. A couple weeks ago in Stillwater, Bryce Petty walking into the end zone, got so excited he just fell over. 2 plays later, they fumble. Oklahoma State takes control of that football game. Last week against Oklahoma State, Texas, Case McCoy throws an interception right before the half. Oklahoma State turns that into a touchdown. They walk away with the football game. Each quarterback has a huge obligation to control their emotions and keep things in check for their team. Both teams are talented enough to win this football game outright. It's going to come down to which quarterback can control their emotions.
So how do you control that emotion? You've been in big games before.
Well, you know what? I don't know that I'm qualified to answer that one anymore. Maybe Ryan Neese is down there on the sideline.
Joe, you're absolutely right. You got to control your emotions, but it's also about setting the tone. It's going to be important for these guys to set the tone specifically on defense. I look at guys like Jackson Jeffcoat. He's going to have to find a way to get up after Bryce Petty. They haven't recorded a sack in any of their losses. He's going to have to be aggressive. And you look at the other side of the ball for Baylor, Eddie Lackey. This is a next-level linebacker. He's aggressive. He produces all over the place. He's physical. He's going to have to find a way to shut down the run. Texas had over two guys last week over 100 yards in rushing. He's going to have to be all over the place, as is the entire Baylor defense.
Sellout crowd. Let's play football.
Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma. Cowboys trailing by 3 after a late Oklahoma touchdown. Last chance for the Cowboys. It's just not going to work on this day for Oklahoma State. Texas would score this touchdown, win the game 33-24. What this means, the winner of Texas-Baylor wins the Big 12 and gets that automatic BCS berth, and that means we have a huge game going on in Waco. Let's go back to Craig Bullerjack.
Oh, Patrick, what a day in Big 12 football. Can you believe that finish? Oklahoma State goes down at home to Oklahoma. Now Baylor is sitting here, Joey, with a chance to really cap off one of their finest, the finest season in Baylor football.
Well, not only is Baylor in a position to win this Big 12 conference championship, but did you ever think that Texas, at the beginning of the season after their 1-2 start, would also be in that position as well? Speaks volumes about the job that Mac Brown and his staff has done, and speaks volumes about the type of character and the type of players that are on both of these sidelines.
Oh, this crowd just got the news. And look at the emotion on this field. It's the final game. And Joey, fitting for a stadium 64 years old to say farewell as they move on to the new stadium next season.
Well, you know what? There aren't too many places like this left around the country. I mean, everybody's building a brand new facility, a brand new stadium with luxury boxes and sky suites. There's something really nice, something refreshing to come to a place like this where it's just, you can feel it. You can feel the history. You can feel the energy in this type of place. It's a wonderful environment, and I'm happy to be here to send it out.
Baylor will kick off wearing retro jerseys that date back to 1950. Kicks away, short. Duke Thomas with the return, and a good one to the 32-yard line. We bring out Case McCoy, the senior, out of Graham, Texas.
You know what, Greg? If there's anybody who's qualified to handle this situation, it's Case. I mean, this guy has been through so many different situations in his career. He's been a starter, a backup, but you know what? The one thing that's always been consistent, he's smart, he's gutty, and this guy is a competitor.
15th career start, none bigger than today here in Waco. Longhorns, 1st and 10, 31-yard line. The handoff goes to Malcolm Brown. Bangs his way big yards up to the 38-yard line. And Joey, let's check out our impact players.
Well, there's one of your impact players right there, Malcolm Brown with the big carry. Expect to see Joe Bergeron in the backfield as well. Texas is going to run the ball early and often, and Baylor needs Eddie Lackey and Bryce Hager to come in and make some big tackles. Going back there, excuse me, Craig. Eddie Lackey and Bryce Hager, both fantastic linebackers for Baylor, very fast sideline to sideline, and they're going to be chasing these Texas running backs all over the field today.
3rd down 8, 3 wide receivers set near side. As McCoy in the shotgun has protection, throws a deep ball, man coverage up top. The ball hangs, there's contact, and the ball will be incomplete back inside the 35-yard line.
Hey, Craig, you saw that ball wobble coming out of Case McCoy's hand today. With the temperatures below 30 degrees, this ball gets hard, it gets slick, and it's tough for a quarterback to get a good grip on it, let alone for a wide receiver to make that soft hands catch.
That brings down Anthony Farah to punt for Texas, and he will be punting into a stiff wind. Levi Norwood back at the 25-yard line. Farah, good kick. We can see the wind just knocks it straight down at the 36, and a flag along the far side of the field.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 7, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Let's go down, and for the first time today, check in with Ryan.
Craig and Joey, we know the temperatures down here are freezing, but one of the other weather conditions is the wind. We saw Case McCoy's pass get hung up in the wind. He had an open receiver, but when the offenses are moving in that direction, they're going to have to be very careful throwing the ball up in the air, because it can get hung up, and all of a sudden that can lead to an interception. He was lucky right there that didn't happen.
You just saw that punt get pushed back by Farah. And the penalty pushes Baylor back to the 27-yard line. And our first look today at Bryce Petty. What a year. He'll be back for his senior campaign. 3,500 yards, Joey. 28 touchdowns through the air. He's ran for another 11. Midlothian, Texas, the 6'3 junior. Antoine Goodley hits the edge and is bumped down at the 32-yard line, a pickup of 5.
Hey, Craig, take a look at this formation here. Last week against TCU, they started in a little bit of a weird formation, a bunch diamond quad set. This time they stacked 3 guys up there just trying to get some quick hitters and get some rhythm going, because that's what this offense is about. Rhythm, timing, getting flow. They've been knocked out of that rhythm the last 2 weeks against TCU and Oklahoma State. It's imperative they start fast and get going today.
Well, they're off to a fast start. Niver, the tight end, with the catch. Petty goes back to work quickly on a quick hit near side. Goodley breaks it to the 35-yard line. This is what we've seen throughout the season for Baylor. They'll line up and hit you fast as we look at impact players on this side of the ball.
Well, yeah, Antoine Goodley's already seen the ball twice today. Only 1 catch last week for 12 yards, and Lake Seastrunk, both keys to getting this Baylor offense moving.
Fresh downs for Baylor at the 26.5-yard line. Quick hit, Glasgow Martin cuts back up middle of the field, and he's surrounded by a host of Longhorns at the 20-yard line. In fact, they'll mark him down inside the 20 at the 19.
Craig, last week against TCU, we saw Glasgow Martin really run strong in between the tackles and burn the clock at the end of the game. They're going to need that type of physical presence inside from him today.
This time, Petty on a keeper, stiff arms, and is bumped out hard inside the 15 at the 13-yard line. And those hits came from Jenkins, the Sam strong side linebacker, and Bindum.
Need that type of physical presence inside from him today.
This time, Petty on a keeper, stiff arms, and is bumped out hard inside the 15. Inside the 10 goes Glasgow Martin. Last week, 17 carries, 69 yards. Against TCU, Lake Seastrunk was back as well. He's been battling groin injuries, and this is just an incredible drive. Hurry up as Martin hits the middle of that pile against Cedric Reed and Jackson Jeffcoat. Petty inside the 5. Fourth down.
We've seen Bryce Petty run the ball more over the last few weeks, because when you run this spread option offense, you have to have the option of the quarterback. Teams can just key in on the running back if your quarterback isn't a threat. Bryce Petty has 11 touchdowns running the ball this year, but they're going to need him to run more out in the middle of the field if they're going to keep defenses honest.
Well, you need points in a game such as this, and you've got the wind behind them. So is the Aaron Jones, who's hit 11 of 17 this season. And the field goal is up and good. From 22 yards, Baylor takes their opening drive and up 3 in Waco. It's 3-0 Baylor. In Stillwater 3.5 hours ago, Oklahoma State kicked off hoping just to win the Big 12 outright at a BCS Bowl bid. Oklahoma had a different story, Joey. Upset.
Well, this always seems to happen at the end of the college football season. I mean, last week, rivalry week, it's tough to say when it's cold out, Craig, was just a mess. We saw things with Alabama and Auburn. You just expect it at the end of the season. It's what makes college football great, and it adds so much more importance to this game here today.
Well, this place is rocking. Floyd Casey Stadium, 64th year. The kick 2 yards deep. Texas brings it out. Duke Thomas. Nice cutback, 25 on his feet, 30, 35, and takes a fall forward to the 37-yard line. 37-yard return. Joey, time to look at today's Buick keys to victory.
Well, the last couple weeks, teams have been able to shut down Antoine Goodley. That's what Texas needs to do to throw this Baylor offense out of rhythm. With the absence of Tevin Reese, Goodley is the key to get everything going. On the other side of the ball, Baylor needs to stay in rhythm. When their offense is going, their defense can play aggressive, because offensively, if they give their defensive lead, this aggressive style Baylor defense can come up with turnovers.
Texas with their second offensive series at the 37-yard line. McCoy on the handoff to Malcolm Brown. Cuts back, big hole, slices 50 to the 45-yard line. Orion Stewart, the safety, came up to make the tackle, and a nice block up front by the tight end Jeff Swaim, a pickup of 16.
You know, Craig, we saw this a couple weeks ago in Stillwater when Baylor played there. Oklahoma State was able to run the ball consistently and manage the clock. Baylor needs to have a lead so that defense can pin their ears back and try and play aggressively.
Right up the middle, 2 yards, as Brown bangs his way to the 43-yard line. Tell you, one of the great stories in college football, at least in the Big 12, is the ground game of Texas. They were heartbroken when Jonathan Gray, the tailback, tore his Achilles. We were there at West Virginia back on November 9th. Malcolm Brown's been beat up. Bergeron had fumbleitis, I guess is the best way to put it, early in the season. Now he's had to step in for the injured Jonathan Gray.
Well, Joe Bergeron wore Jonathan Gray's jersey last week. What a tribute to him.
Little pitch out. Dejay Johnson hits the edge, bounced down of bounds, 25-yard line. Johnson did not play last week because of violation of team rules. He's an electric runner, receiver, 22 catches on the year, and he just went for 14.
Well, he's that type of player that you just have to get the ball in his hands. Was a running back a couple years ago, and Texas is just trying to find a place for him because he's so explosive.
Joe Bergeron, the handoff. They are deep in the backfield, and Bergeron works his way down close to the 25-yard line. Bergeron last week against Tech, 17 carries, Joey, 102 yards and a touchdown.
Well, Bergeron, like you mentioned a moment ago, had a little bit of fumbleitis. Big fumble against Oklahoma, another big one against Iowa State mid-season. And so he's found himself at the bottom of this stable of running backs. But the injury to Jonathan Gray has allowed him to get back on the field. And what a testament to Joe Bergeron and his drive to keep playing, that he has now come in and carried the ball for 100 yards last week.
He'll get the call again, tries to spin out of a tackle, and Baylor is there to push him back for a loss. It's Eddie Lackey. The Will, weak side linebacker, 85th tackle of the season. Downstairs we go, and Ryan.
Craig and Joey, I was on the sidelines, on Baylor's sidelines, and Phil Bennett, the defensive coordinator for Baylor, was telling his defense when they went on the sideline, we got to find a way to stop the run. We got to use our hands, get off blocks. We've seen Texas on this drive give them a steady dose of runs. They just came up with a big play for their defense. Baylor's got to keep that up.
It was a loss of one, Ryan. Brown and Bergeron split alongside McCoy. McCoy, middle of the field's open, and he throws. It's incomplete. Mike Davis, the intended receiver. There was a soft spot open for a moment, Joey, right in the middle of the field around the 25-yard line.
Well, that was the right read, the right throw. Great job of protection by the Texas offensive line. Case just misses him just by an inch. Great read. Nice timing on the delivery, just missed a little bit on the throw.
Anthony Farah, 19 of 20. His only miss from 45 yards against Kansas State back on week 4. This will be from 44 yards on the far hash. Good snap, good hold, kick short. That ball was deflected, and Joey, on a cold day, it's like hitting a sack of concrete.
That concrete felt pretty good, though, I'll tell you that. Craig, he's tough to miss. 6'9", 270-pound Sean Oakman. No, he's not a post for the basketball team that beat Kentucky last night. Here he is jumping up to block the field goal. Just getting his paws in there. What a player. Great defensive end. Really learning how to play the game of football. Transferred from Penn State. Coaches told us that even if he messes up on a play, he can still get in there and create a 5-yard loss.
And Petty's got the ball and tries to lead Antoine Goodley. Petty's missed his last 3 throws. On the ground goes Baylor. Glasgow Martin carries to the 15. Jackson Jeffcoat with the tackle. Jeffcoat, what a player. 3-year letterman, Plano, Texas. Yeah, if the name sounds familiar, because his dad, Jim Jeffcoat, a fine defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I think Jackson's become a fine player in his own right. 56 career tackles for loss. I mean, just in every offensive backfield, it seems like, in the Big 12. 3
sacks last week against Texas Tech. Petty all day to throw, and they're going to call that incomplete down at the 30-yard line. Adrian Phillips, for a moment, looked like maybe he had taken that ball just off the top of the grass, the turf. It's incomplete. Well, it comes back to the play of Duke Johnson there. Jamming Antoine Goodley off the line, getting in his face, disrupting his route. Antoine Goodley is a big physical wide receiver, but he does not very often, or has not often in this season, had to deal with that press coverage because of the threat on the other side from Tevin Reese. When he got injured against Oklahoma, the pressure on Goodley really heated up, and teams have been able to slow him down. Spencer Roth right at his goal line. Tough kick, end over end. Takes a Baylor bounce. Inside the 30, inside the 25. Rolling to the 22-yard line. We played 15 minutes, 3-0. Baylor on Fox.
Joey and Craig, we can see Joe Bergeron running around on the sidelines. His ankle is getting evaluated. They respatted his cleat, which is just taping over the cleat and taping over the ankle to give it a little bit more support. It looks like he's going to be able to come back into the game.
From our perch, looks like good explosive ability still, Joey, as he was stretching out pretty good there on the run.
First down.
McCoy and Texas, they go back to work. McCoy so far, Joey, 2 of 7, 24 yards and an interception. Second quarter underway. Brown could not elude Brody Trahan, number 15. but still picks up 4, maybe 5. Second down. That's what you call respatting. Make those shoes look nice.
11.
High snap. Off the left side, pushing straight ahead. Malcolm Brown showing some emotion. All right, Greg, thank you. It's warm inside the dome. Come on. Feels like 14 degrees here in Waco with a stiff wind blowing from left to right. Jackson Shipley with the reception. This is the up top camera looking down at the field. I mean, it's just a slight miss, Joey, just kind of hanging around. Guarantee you the windshields, you're not going to have much fun chipping that ice away after the end of this one.
Yeah, it's not so much the heat today as it is the humidity.
Art Briles told us on game 1 it was 118 degrees heat index opening week. Here it is 3.5 months later, and it's 14 degrees.
100-degree difference.
Big run. Malcolm Brown. He's been going left side behind Espinoza and Hopkins.
Well, Craig, this offensive line, we mentioned it earlier in the first quarter, starting to open up some big holes. Espinoza, Mason Walters, the most experienced part of this Texas team. They're going to need to rely on them heavily in this football game because Malcolm Brown is going to set the tone for this Texas offense.
McCoy goes under center on 1st and 10. They stretch it out. Bouncing off hard is Malcolm Brown, and a gang tackle at the 30.
How strong a runner is Malcolm Brown? I know he just got driven back there, but boy, that contact hitting the hole hard. We saw last week at TCU. I think that was as well as against Texas Tech. He's just been fantastic running the football the last 3 weeks since Jonathan Gray has gone out. I would not be surprised if Malcolm Brown ended the day with 30-plus carries.
They carried it for 27 last week, 128 yards against the Red Raiders. Second down, 7. Play action. McCoy wants the home run ball up top. Bump, batted away. What a play. Marcus Johnson out there, and Dimitri Goodson bumped and then put a hand in the belly and knocked it away. Incomplete.
Just like he was playing defense back in the old WCC, a former point guard for Gonzaga in 2010 made a fantastic play on the ball, and that was a nice, great throw, great read by Case McCoy, but a better play by Dimitri Goodson.
Absolutely. Best throw of the day by McCoy in this cold weather. Now 3rd down and 7. This crowd is bubbling, is boiling.
Craig, again, play clock down to 5. Case needs to be aware of that.
Down to 3, just got the snap away, draw play, up the gut, Overstreet to the 25-yard line. A pickup of 5. Overstreet, a redshirt freshman out of Tatum, Texas. That was his 19th carry of the year, now over 100 yards on the season. And it's going to bring up 4th down, short of the first by 2 yards.
We've seen the struggles for Baylor with field goals today. Let's see if Texas can come through with one. Remember, this hard ball is tough to kick.
Anthony Farah will try this from 42 yards off the far hash. Line drive kick. And good from 42. Had the wind behind him. 4:31 left in this opening half, and the field goals, the story. Jones from 22, and Farah just booted one up and in, and we're tied at 3. Three all tie, kicks away. Line drive, 1-yard line. Goodley to the 27. Glasgow Martin, heart and soul of the Texas front. 2, maybe 3 yards up to the 23-yard line. This is the battle for the Big 12 title. Oklahoma with the upset against Oklahoma State. Outside the catch, Norwood steps out of bounds, 6 seconds on the clock. And Brown's got to be happy with the position he is in. Joey, here as we head into halftime. Petty, quick throw, knocked down hard from behind, incomplete. Goodley, the intended receiver. Nice hit by Duke Thomas.
You know, as we head into halftime here, Craig, Baylor needs to go back to what they started with. Get the ball into Antoine Goodley's hands quickly. Let him establish some rhythm. Create some second and shorts, third and shorts where Glasgow and Lake Seastrunk can run the ball effectively.
3 wide receivers near side. They throw it out to Coleman. He's got blockers. Follows them to the 40, and that's going to wind out the first half. Quandre Diggs made the tackle. And Joey, on a cold afternoon in Waco, 2 field goals. Baylor went up early. Aaron Jones, 22 yards. Farah kicked one for Texas, and after 2 quarters, it's tied at 3. So much on the line today.
Well, yeah, and it's really been the mistakes of both teams that have been the story of today.
Let's go downstairs. Here's Ryan Neese.
Coach, obviously that your offense has been held to 3 points. How much is weather a factor, and what adjustments do you need to make in the second half?
I think we just got to be cleaner. Penalties and just not finishing drives, missing 2 field goals. It's a good, tough ball game for a Big 12 championship. We got to play better.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. Back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Halftime here in Waco, Texas. 3-3 our score. Baylor and the Texas Longhorns. Let's go to Patrick O'Neill and the guys in L.A. for the Pizza Hut halftime report. Yes, the battle for the Big 12 championship rolls on here in Waco, Texas, as we're minutes away from the third quarter. Oh, yeah, a kingdom for a heater.
I'm going to battle for a heater. They may battle for the championship. I'm going to battle for some heat.
Craig Boberjack along with Joey Harrington. Interesting first half of play. 7 punts, 2 field goals, and numerous drop footballs in this one.
Well, yeah, it's been a tale of mistakes in the first half, and this second half is going to be determined by who can just buckle down, win the trenches, and move the other team out of the way. I mean, up to this point, the only thing that's really been established that's been consistent is Malcolm Brown's ability to run the football. The holes that this offensive line for Texas have created have been fantastic. And even when the holes have been tight, Malcolm has just put his head down and run through the safeties and linebackers who are trying to come up and make the tackles. Look, Baylor is the team that has just been explosive offensively this year, but their miscues have allowed Texas to stick with their game plan, and that is run the ball, then take a shot.
118 yards for Malcolm Brown as we look at the K Jewelers first half stats.
Well, like we said, the rushing yards for Texas really stick out. And then also the passing yards for Baylor, 169 yards through the air. It really doesn't seem like Baylor has that many yards passing right now. It's kind of been a quiet 169, but for Baylor to get back on track and establish the rhythm and the explosiveness that they've had all year, they must get that going early. They got to get the ball into Antoine Goodley's hands, allow him to be the big play guy he's been for him all season long.
Into the wind, chip shot. Baylor runs up on it at the 24-yard line. So here we go as we start the third quarter. 3-3 tie. Let's talk Baylor's offense, because Joey, we've seen Art Briles and his O all year long. They go for over 630 yards a game. They go for over 55 yards scoring per game. Today, not the case.
Well, yeah, they need tempo. They're a rhythm offense. They're that type of team that just feeds off of their own success, and they haven't been able to establish that today. They started the game early, Craig, getting the ball into the hands of Antoine Goodley, and I feel like a broken record here, but when Tevin Reese went down, Antoine became the guy, the catalyst for this offense. They need these explosive plays to open everything else up in the backfield.
Big hole on the first play to the 30-yard line. A nice run of 7 yards for Glasgow Martin. Let's check in with Ryan Neese, who had a chance to talk one-on-one with Mack Brown. Ryan?
Craig and Joey, I did talk with Mack Brown. I did talk with Art Briles, too, and both said weather wasn't a factor. I don't know about that because it's pretty cold out here. But the one thing that Mack Brown did say is they are going against the wind in the third quarter. He's going to be important for them to control the ball, not make mistakes. And then in the fourth quarter, when they get the opportunity to go with the wind, use that to their advantage, take their shots, and have an opportunity to finish the game and win the Big 12 championship.
I don't think any coach is going to admit anything in a game like this. No, cold, no way. Petty. Right on the hands of Goodley. streaking across the middle. Big pass play and a first down at the 45.
A fantastic play design there by Art Briles, motioning the running back out of the backfield to create a matchup for Antoine Goodley in the slot, and Bryce Petty delivered the ball.
That was a pickup of 21. Norwood breaks one tackle, can't escape the other, and a big pickup, 9 yards to the 36-yard line.
Well, here what we're talking about right there. By moving the running back out of the backfield, it vacates the linebacker from the middle of the formation, allowing Antoine Goodley simply to get into the middle of the defense, and Bryce Petty delivered a strike.
Baylor works off the far hash. Keeper, Petty, he can run when needed. And I think he surprised Texas there as he took the ball back out of the belly and ran it to the 27-yard line.
Well, and here we go. Here's that Baylor tempo we've seen all year long. Get a little rhythm going, now you can move.
Petty wants to throw, pressure from the edge, and down he goes, Jeffcoat.
Did I say here we go with the tempo? That's
Jeffcoat,
exactly how you stop
Jeffcoat took
it.
the tempo away.
Well, right here, you'll see Jackson Jeffcoat on the defensive end here just simply get through. Great move to get on the inside. Bryce Petty stood no chance right there.
11th sack of the season for Jeffcoat. He had 6 tackles in the first half. A loss of 7. Second down, 17. Up the middle goes Shock Linwood. Gets about 8 yards back.
Well, yeah, they were just a moment away, just a shoestring tackle away from breaking a big one there. Great tackle by the Texas defense.
At the 28-yard line. Petty throws. Tough catch, climbs a ladder up top. Goodley stacked up, 1, 2, 3 Longhorns knock him down at the 8-yard line. 16 yards on the play, and Michael Thompson, the free safety there.
Well, look at Antoine Goodley there, just showing the emotion. Going up and making a tough catch. He knows that he's the catalyst. He knows that he's the guy who has to get this offense going, and he just made a great play.
Linwood, middle of the pile, knocked down by a host of Longhorns, a pickup of 1. This is very much, Joey, again, like the first opening drive we saw of this game by Petty.
Well, yeah, the difference is, well, or we'll see what the difference in that first half. They weren't able to capitalize. They weren't able to get the ball into the end zone, and they missed 2 field goals.
Over the top. Oh, and off the hands of Niver.
Oh, and Bryce Petty wants that one back. I've been there. I've been there. You just see him so wide open. You just get excited and just drop it off to him. Take a deep breath. Relax. Don't force it.
Niver was untouched as he went up the middle of the field and parked himself in the end zone.
You can almost punt the ball. I mean, you can just throw a lollipop out there. Oh, and Bryce Petty's going to want that one back.
3rd down and 9 for Baylor. 3 wide up top. 2 wide down low. Empty backfield for Petty. Clay Fuller, the motion man. Petty looks right. One-handed catch. Oh my! Touchdown, Goodley.
Wow.
On a day where that football's like a rock, somehow Goodley soft hands that one in for a touchdown.
Wow. What a throw and catch, and Antoine Goodley may have just provided the play that sparks this Baylor offense in the second half. What a great individual effort, beating the coverage and making a tough catch.
Aaron Jones with the PAT. It was a Goodley kind of drive, and what a great catch in the end zone to cap it off. Petty and company up by 7. Petty on that drive, Joey, 4 of 7, 67 yards, and Baylor up by a count of 10-3 at the 6-yard line. Duke Thomas flags are out. Thomas returns the ball near the 35-yard line, but we have a flag down.
Touchdown.
All right, now the question, how does Mack Brown in Texas respond?
I'm going to guess on the ground.
Malcolm Brown carried the rock in the first half. He opens up here on the 3rd. He takes a lick at the 18-yard line. That's a run of 7, and he lost his shoe.
Well, Craig, the key for Texas is just to stick with what you're doing. Don't allow the crowd coming into it. Don't allow the momentum of Baylor to take you out of what you've been doing so well in the first half, and that's running the football.
Jalen Overstreet replaces Brown in the backfield. Overstreet, again, the ball carrier, and Baylor's defense now is running on high speed.
Well, Baylor's defense feeds off of their offense. Look, there are some teams that are going to man up and be stout in the middle and push you around on the offensive line. That's not Baylor's defense. This defense feeds on playing with a lead, playing aggressive, creating turnovers, taking chances. They feed on the momentum of the offense in this crowd, and they're starting to pick things up.
McCoy out of the pocket, needs 17, and hook slides at the 14-yard line. That is to play another down. You save yourself to play another day. A pickup of 3 and a punting situation for Texas.
Well, look who's back on the field right there. Ahmad Dixon had to sit out the first half for Baylor after a targeting foul at the end of last game. A senior leader for this defense, a fantastic safety. He's back on the field now after serving a suspension.
Short kick, fair catch at the 47. Levi Norwood. So good field positions for Baylor. They're up by a touchdown, the punt of 35, and the battle for the Big 12 continues on Fox.
Craig, in the first half, Baylor did a great job of hiding Antoine Goodley in their stacked formations. To open the second half, they've come out in motion to create holes for him in the middle of the field. And all he's done is gone out and be the catalyst to spark this offense for Baylor. The crowd is in it. The Baylor sidelines are in it. Consequently, the Baylor defense feeds off it. This could be the start of the explosion that we've seen from Baylor so often this year.
Goodley, 8 catches, 114 yards, and a touchdown. On the ground, 1-2 tackles broken by Seastrunk. And he rips off about 7. Peter Jenkins, a Sam's strong side linebacker, with the tackle. Remember, Texas, Joey's playing without their fine top tackler, Steve Edmond, who's out with a lacerated liver. He came in, he left the game with 73 tackles. He's missed today, and Seastrunk finding his rhythm, and he's out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about, Craig. Because Antoine Goodley was able to establish his presence on the last drive, it opens things up for everybody else. Texas's defense has to pay attention to Goodley. Now Seastrunk comes in and cuts off a couple big plays.
Seastrunk. Oh, he dealt out the punishment on that run to the 20-yard line. Michael Thompson was there, but it was Seastrunk who delivered the lick.
Here he comes around the corner. Great block up front, and then Seastrunk just drops his shoulder to run through Michael Thompson there in the secondary. Wow.
Another first down, Baylor on the move. Up the gut, Glasgow Martin inside the 10.
This is what we saw from Baylor all year. Big plays outside create big plays inside. Big plays inside then result in big plays outside. You have to pick your poison when Baylor is running like this.
And a gain of 10. First and goal. Petty squares his pads to the 5. Don't forget, Petty's a big guy. 6'3", goes 230, picks up 4. And it looks like maybe shaken on that play.
Well, how about Stephen Huber getting in there? The center protecting his quarterback. And you're right, Craig. Bryce Petty seems to be a little shaken up after that.
Second down goal. Glasgow Martin. Stuffed and pushed back by Texas. Malcolm Brown, big number 90, with the hit.
Well, Craig, when you run the ball so well with your running backs, oh, there it is. Malcolm Brown coming in. The key to the spread option, or that spread attack, is to keep a defense guessing. And if your quarterback doesn't carry the football every once in a while just to keep him honest, the defense can key in on too many people. Right there, Bryce Petty does the right thing, but exposes himself to a big hit from Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, he got hit thigh high. Touchdown, Norwood. Bang, bang play. Petty read it. The hot slant. Norwood, 6 yards, touchdown, Baylor.
You're just waiting for it. We're waiting for that explosion. And again, the motion, Craig. Watch him motion across the formation. He bumps out, creates a little space for Norwood there. That's all it is a moment of indecision from a defense. Great play call, great design by Baylor, using the motion to start this second half.
Point after attempt up and through the uprights by Aaron Jones. Baylor, 2 possessions here in the third, 2 touchdowns. Norwood from Petty, 17-3, Baylor.
Beating off of.
30 touchdown throws now by Petty. And this kick lands 8 yards deep in the end zone with just under 7 minutes left, and oh, how the tide has turned. Now the emotion of the moment has put the ball back at the 13-yard line for Texas. They've allowed 14 unanswered. And look at this Baylor defense. Joey, you mentioned about the reacting to the offense in this crowd, and Ryan, you can hear the roar of the crowd down where you are.
The crowd is on fire right now, and I just want to pay off what you were saying about motion, Joey. Greg Robinson, defensive coordinator, brought over the secondary and told the guys, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to pass that information from one another. It's the only way that you guys are going to be able to cover these guys as they motion out of the backfield.
Handoff on a cutback. We'll look at the stack on Malcolm Brown, fighting for every yard to the 15.
Well, right here, Craig, this is a turning point of the ball game. This is where Case McCoy needs to take the load, put the team on his shoulders, and deliver a first down. Because if they have to punt here, this crowd, like Ryan was talking about, is going to go absolutely nuts.
3rd down and 8. McCoy just 7 of 19 for 38 yards. There's one pump underneath. Malcolm Brown, Trahan with the tackle. This defense, this offense of Baylor has been totally different since we saw the return of Ahmad Dixon.
Well, return of Ahmad Dixon and the explosion from the offense. I wasn't kidding when I said this defense feeds off the offense. When you play with a lead as a defender, you can be so much more aggressive. You don't worry about making a mistake because you know even if you do give up a big play, your offense is going to get one back for you.
Farah will punt into the wind. Hangs it high. Fair catch, 46-yard line. And a boot of 35. Baylor making their move for the Big 12 title and a trip to a BCS bowl game. Up by 14 at home on Fox. Well, Joey, oh yes, the possibilities if a Baylor win occurs today here in Waco. First ever Big 12 title, first conference title since 1994. It would be a school record in wins, 11. First January bowl bid since 1991.
Wow.
What were you doing in 91?
Let me think. I was 13. I was just discovering high school. Wow.
A few years have passed, and there he is. Art Briles with a new 10-year contract and a new stadium that opens next fall. Petty back to work, pitch and catch. And a pickup of 11 yards. Corey Coleman on the receiving end of that Petty pass, who's really got the rhythm rolling here in the third.
Yeah, we're going to see this Baylor offense tempo get moving now. Lake Seastrunk signaling to the sideline. We got to run.
Play action, Petty, one pump. That ball may have been deflected. It flew out of his hand.
Boy,
with
Bryce
an odd
Petty,
rotation.
Bryce Petty took a shot there because he held onto the ball just a second too long. Antoine Goodley hadn't come out of his break yet. Bryce has to cut that ball loose and trust that he's going to come back on it.
That ball
Instead,
he
held it. Yeah, he held onto it and took a shot by Dalton Santos.
Petty stands up, throws, coming back. Ooh. On the hands is Coleman with a couple of nice catches here on this drive.
Well, and there's an example of cutting the ball loose and trusting that your receiver's going to stop. He threw a back shoulder fade there. He had Coleman running up the sideline. Great coverage by the Texas secondary, but instead he stopped him on his back shoulder. Great throw and catch.
Seastrunk swarmed under by Cedric Reed. It'll be interesting to see what the future holds for Bryce Petty. Joey's been talked about a lot in the press. Talked that he would come back for a senior year if he does indeed. You would think he has to be one of the top Heisman candidates to start the season.
Well, first of all, he needs to be in New York this year. He's had a fantastic season. And one loss in my opinion, against a very good Oklahoma State team in Stillwater, should not take him out of that room in New York. But you're right. If he comes back next year, he's definitely going to be on the short list of Heisman favorites to start next season.
30 touchdowns to date, rolling up nearly 400 yards passing through the air. This time Glasgow Martin knocked down at the 20-yard line. No gain, 4th down. Ryan Neese has a thought on Mr. Petty.
Joey and Craig, we had a chance to sit down with Bryce Petty yesterday, and he just continues to show his maturity, his confidence. I just enjoy talking to the young guy. He has a certain presence about him, and you know what? He said it's all about his teammates. You know, he gave a lot of credit to his success, obviously to his offensive line and the playmakers he has around him, and he always understands the big picture, and that's what I respect about him. He never gets too caught up in the moment. He always sees the big picture.
Jones hit a 22-yarder in the first quarter. It looks long enough. Good. Baylor extends their lead to 20-3. Down the middle. Back in Waco, Texas. Cold, windy, but has not stalled Baylor here in the third quarter. They've answered back after a 3-3 tie at the break. 17 unanswered points.
Well, this offense is rolling now. I mean, we saw it from Baylor all season long, leading the country in scoring, leading the country in total offense. I mean, I don't have the time to mention the number of records they could possibly break, but their ability to move the football on offense, invigorated their defense, has brought this crowd back into the ball game, and now Texas is in a position where they have to hold on. They need to get a drive put together here and go back to what they did in the first half, which is moving the chains and pushing this Baylor defense around.
Now this will be a big drive, a big series for McCoy and the Longhorn. Short kick, 11-yard line. Duke Thomas hits the edge. Watch out. 30, 35, takes a pop at the 35-yard line. 25-yard return. McCoy's got to make a statement right now. Under center. First down, 36-yard line. End round. Johnson has room, needs a blocker. Stutter steps and driven out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Dimitri Goodson drove him out after a pickup, Joey, at 21.
Well, it was a really nice job by Sam Hall getting outside. Sam Hall getting outside to force the play back in. But there was nobody left to clean up. The offensive line for Texas got to the second level, blocked the linebackers, and sprung Johnson along the edge there.
Coming up on 2 minutes left. Third quarter, battling for yards is Malcolm Brown to the 41.
Fox.
Greg thinks it's a very intriguing matchup tonight. McCoy throws over the top. Marcus Johnson, the intended receiver. Texas 1 of 11 on third down conversions. McCoy up top. Got a man, over the shoulder catch, dropped. Incomplete. Nice pass off the hand of McCoy, but Sanders can't bring it down. Ryan, you going on the offense or defensive side?
Craig, you're absolutely right. You know what? I got to go with Michigan State in that game. Their ability to play defense, their ability to shut down the run and play great coverage. They're only giving up 11 points a game. I'm impressed with the way they're playing this year.
So in the word, he says defense, Joey.
No.
The old linebacker.
The best defense is a good offense. That's what I say.
Texas will punt, trying to pin Baylor deep in their own territory. Fair catch, 13-yard line by Norwood. 30-yard punt by Farah. Well, if you're just tuning in tonight, well, welcome to Waco, Texas. 25 degrees. It feels like it's 12. Well, it's caused havoc in central Texas, airports, highways, over the last 2 days. No problems for Baylor, however, here in the third quarter. 17 unanswered. They've scored on every drive thus far. And a gain of 8 by Seastrom.
And what a block there by Troy Baker, number 75, getting in and just pushing the Texas defensive players out of the way for Lake Seastrunk.
Seashawk came in averaging 109 yards a game. So when he's healthy, one of the better backs in the Big 12.
Well, you have to acknowledge the fact that Baylor lost both Tevin Reese and Lake Seastrunk in that game against Oklahoma, and that affected them the next week against Oklahoma State.
They reset the play clock. Now it's at 19. Petty hit from behind by his own player, and then Texas crushes him on 3rd down and short. Jackson Jeffcoat with a big play and a loss of 1.
Well, look, when you run a spread offense, you always have the option to run the ball, or if the defense gets too many people in the box, to throw the ball. They tried to do that same thing from a tight formation, and Bryce Petty simply got run into the back. The running backs ran into the back of him before he tried to throw the ball.
Roth owns a big leg, averages over 46 yards a kick. Line drive. Shipley.
Oh boy.
Off to the races. Has room 40. Has room 30. Down the sideline, bumped out hard, and a flag is dropped in at the 20-yard line.
Texas did a fantastic job of setting up a return wall, allowing Jackson Shipley to hit the edge. But it was partly because it was such a low kick.
Here's Scott Novak.
There are 2 fouls, both against the kicking team. Holding, kicking team, number 65, penalties declined. Personal foul, face mask, number 55 of the kicking team. That will be added half the distance to the end of the run. First down.
Much needed break for Texas. Big return by Shipley. A 43-yard return. 15 minutes away. Baylor so close to a Big 12 championship. Stay close on Fox. Now Texas with new life. Brown takes a hit at the 6-yard line.
That was Sean Oakman there, who made the big block of the field goal in the first half.
Well,
this time he just gets too aggressive.
And he went over the top of Kennedy Estelle, number 77. And the unsportsmanlike call, and Texas now with 2nd down and goal to goal. Handoff right side. Boy, Malcolm Brown, Joey, is taking a beating. He's dishing it out as well. He took on 3 Bears as he hit the edge at the 4-yard line.
And watch Lackey come over and just deliver the blow there down the sideline.
Lost a mouthpiece along the way. I'll tell you, that's hard hitting, coming right at you down at your living room.
Well, he's the type of guy you love to have on your defense. A small school player from Michigan. When he started his college career, a small school in Michigan, his coach told him, hey, you're too good to play here. You got to go somewhere else. Great player, fantastic play.
Crowds roaring on 3rd down and goal. Texas stays on the ground with Brown. Pushes to the 2-yard line. Lackey again and on that tackle.
There you go, right in the air. He knocked his own mouthpiece out there.
That's the kind of hits.
Wow.
In Waco today. 130 yards for Brown, Joey, on 25 tough carries.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets another one here, or if they run a play action off of it. The way that Malcolm Brown's been running the football, you know what? I bet you they play action this and try and drop one over the top to a tight end.
Let's see what happens. McCoy sets it all in motion. There's a play action. McCoy, he may have to run it himself. He's in trouble. Switches back, goes the other way. Touchdown, Texas. That may be the toughest 2-yard touchdown of the season.
And boy, Case McCoy was excited, showing his old crazy leg self. Right before the play, Mac Brown trying to call timeout. Wait, no. I mean, I was just kidding. I want this play. God, Case McCoy, it reminded me of Texas A&M 2 years ago, the last time that Texas played them to end a season, scrambling around, simply willing his team into the end zone. That's the Case McCoy that we've seen all year long.
You call him crazy legs for a reason. He bails Texas out of a tough spot as he finds Malcolm Brown. This one's not over. 12:38 left. Baylor 20, Texas 10.
Look at him just will this ball into the end zone. This is what he does his entire career. Look, he's a scrappy guy. He's a talented, smart player, energetic. He wears number 6 because when he arrived at Texas, the equipment manager tossed him a jersey and said, you know what? If you're half as good as your brother who wore number 12, you're going to earn your scholarship. How about that for pressure?
Yeah, that's and he's done that more.
Oh, how about handling yourself in that situation? I mean, so many kids would have crumbled playing in the shadow of your brother who is Colt McCoy at his university. Give Case McCoy the credit he deserves for doing a great job for this Texas team leading them this season.
10-point game. Levi Norwood cuts it at the 30 to the 35.
Bryce Petty needs to engineer a drive here to get this momentum back and not give it right back to Texas.
Handoff, Seastrunk. Big hole. Dances back 50. And chopped down at the 45-yard line. All right, Ryan, how big is this drive for Texas and Baylor?
This drive is huge for Baylor. It's their opportunity to obviously eat up the clock, and they got to do that by pounding the rock. We're going to see a steady dose of Seastrunk right now.
Instead, it's Petty. Takes it back and carries it past the 40. He stays in bounds at the 38-yard line, and Jackson Jeffcoat with the tackle.
And by a steady dose of Seastrunk, I'm sure you meant Bryce Petty, because he's the explosive ball carrier in that backfield, right, Ryan?
He is the explosive guy. You got to mix it up.
Seastrunk. Well, just that one moment, that 1 millisecond, he stuttered, stepped, and he was dropped back for a loss of 1 at the 35 by Dalton Santos.
Well, much has been made about the reemergence of the Texas defense under Greg Robinson. One of the biggest things has been their third down conversion percentage. In the first 6 games, they were giving up, opposing teams were converting 45% of third downs on them. That was 109th in all of FBS. In the last 5 games, only 29%, 9th in the FBS.
Third down 11. You know what Greg Robinson did when he came in? He just let his athletes play football. And that's what they're doing. Petty, shotgun, 3rd and 11. Up top, on the hands at the 10-yard line. Glasgow Martin.
Again, Baylor motions out of the backfield to create matchups, only this time Texas doesn't get fooled. Look, Santos goes all the way out. They bracket Goodley going up inside and out, and Glasgow Martin simply runs by the linebacker Dalton Santos. I guarantee you that was not Bryce Petty's first option. You don't want to throw a fade route to Glasgow Martin, but boy, what a throw and catch.
Keeper, hook slide down at the 12. A loss of 1 on the play. Petty flirting with a 300-yard day. He's up near around 270.
Well, you're going to see Petty go down here. Remember, he took that big shot running down on the opposite goal line. And I'm sure he doesn't want to expose himself to another one of those. Or maybe he does.
Interesting call. And another yard loss or no gain is the call. There's Art Briles, 10 minutes away, less than 10 minutes away from a Big 12 championship.
Well, this is
BCS bowl bid.
Well, yeah, and this is a huge down for Texas, because if you can hold them to a field goal, right now it's a 2-possession ball game. A field goal is still a 2-possession ball game. You cannot afford to go down by 17 at this point.
Clock runs, 9.5 left. Petty shotgun. Throws the end zone. No flag, incomplete. Duke Thomas on coverage in the corner, and it's going to be a field goal opportunity for Baylor.
And this is the right call if you're Baylor, putting points on the board, forcing Texas to score 2 touchdowns to catch you, as opposed to just risking giving the ball back and still only keeping a 10-point lead, where you could tie it up with a touchdown and a field goal.
This would make this would make the spread, Joey, 13, a 28-yard attempt. Aaron Jones already hitting from 22 and 42 yards. Kicks up. Baylor stretches her lead to 13. 9:18 left. Briles and the Bears. Oh, so close to a Big 12 title. Texas trying to run them down on Fox. Well, this is the day it's been in the Big 12. It started early in Stillwater, Oklahoma State, and the Sooners pulled the upset 33-24. Now we switch to Waco, Joey. Baylor now in the driver's seat along with Texas, but Baylor has the lead of 23-10 for the Big 12 title.
Well, yeah, the winner is going to the automatic berth in the Fiesta Bowl. And boy, what a fourth quarter this has turned out to be. You couldn't ask for a better game, better way to end the season. One team, Baylor, explosive all year. You expected them to be here. Texas started slow, 1-2. What a story, just the fact that they are here.
Short kick taken 30-yard line and cartwheeled down at the 31. Well, the ice fog continues to roll in here in Waco. 23-10 Baylor. 5-13 away from a Big 12 championship. I don't think he's feeling much of the cold right now.
Yeah, that's a new jacket. It's a hot design out of Milan.
Like it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Ryan, you got to get yourself
craze.
One of those. Yeah, exactly.
Ryan brought it to Baylor.
Yeah, it's warmth. It's all about warmth.
Now you've got Texas with 5 minutes left and down 13. McCoy shotgun, quick throw far side. Out of bounds at the 49, Mike Davis, and a pickup of 5. Got to work the sidelines. You look at the timeouts, Texas with 3, Baylor 2 remaining in this game.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of time left in this ball game. You want to conserve as much clock as possible, but don't forget about your running backs in this situation. Here comes the pressure by Baylor.
Yeah, they're creeping up. Here they come.
Yep.
McCoy slingshots it to the sideline and nearly intercepted. Lackey came on the pressure, and McCoy had to sling it to the near side. See, Lackey, one of the most active backers we've seen. 5 career interceptions. Came in with 84 tackles, 4.5 sacks.
Had a huge one last week against TCU, picking it off on a little slant over the middle, taking it back for a touchdown.
All right, how about 54-yard run back?
Great play. Great play. They're going to need that here right now.
3rd down 5. McCoy tucks and runs. First down, slides down at the 41. Gutty call.
Great call by Major Applewhite. Nobody expected Case McCoy to be running the quarterback draw there. Expecting Baylor to drop into coverage. Follow your running back through the hole. Great play call by Major.
7-yard pickup, first down. 42-yard line of Baylor. Again, here comes heavy pressure up the middle. McCoy's got man coverage. Throws the ball up top. Incomplete down inside the 10-yard line. Mike Davis, the intended receiver. Great coverage by K.J. Morton. Thank you, Greg. Braxton Miller will get his time in the spotlight tonight. McCoy setting up a screen. Picked off. Morton can seal the deal. One man to beat. Touchdown, Baylor. Flag is on the field. Scott Novak.
Before the touchdown was scored, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, number 6. Broke her stride at the 3-yard line. We will penalize 15 yards from the 3-yard line. First down.
The emotional Ahmad Dixon.
Well, it shouldn't turn out to be classy, but here's what happened. Watch Mike Davis right here. They're trying to run a wide receiver screen, except he comes in to try and block. You see all the linemen coming out. Excuse me, they're trying to run a running back screen. But Mike Davis just gets in the way. Tries to drop it over the top, and it's intercepted. Just a broken play from the beginning, excuse me, as Mike Davis tried to get in there and get a block. But the pressure by Baylor, they did it a couple times, bringing one more guy than Texas could block, forcing the Case McCoy to throw the ball when he was uncomfortable.
So first down inside the 20, up the middle, untouched, touchdown Martin, 18 yards.
And listen to this crowd, Craig. How fitting. Glasgow Martin, the senior, 15 touchdowns last year, had a knee injury to start the season, getting back to full speed midway through the year, scoring a touchdown in the last game at Floyd Casey Stadium. I mean, this is just fitting that a senior who's meant so much to this program should score a late touchdown to help take Baylor to a Big 12 championship.
Took it in untouched down to Round Rock, Texas. And the PAT, the chip shot up and good. Martin with a 78-yard performance on 19 carries. Well, a moment ago, the ball picked off, the unsportsmanlike penalty, and then the touchdown by Glasgow Martin. 20-point advantage, Baylor on Fox. Beginning here in Waco, 30-10, Baylor. A record-setting season of 11 wins. They're going to close out this fine old stadium in style. And also, Joey, a Big 12 title and a BCS Bowl bid.
You can't say enough about what Art Briles has done for this program. In such a short time, not only has he taken them to only their second 10-win season in school histories, it looks like he's going to take them to their first 11-win season ever. Art Briles has done a magnificent job here at Baylor.
Produced a Heisman Trophy winner a couple of years ago, Robert Griffin III. And from that point on, this program just kind of skyrocketed upwards.
Well, yeah, Robert Griffin III, Nick Florence last year, Bryce Petty this year. They've had just a fantastic group of quarterbacks come through here under Art Briles.
No return back to the 30-yard line. McCoy, low snap. Slingshots it through the hands of Mike Davis, incomplete. 3:54 left. Well, you have to celebrate what Art Briles, Joey, as we talked about, has accomplished during his tenure. The new contract is at hand, is in hand, I should say, 10 years. McCoy, incomplete. And Briles, in a game like this, of course, it's all about recruiting, Joey. This is the big state of Texas. It's Friday night lights. The high schoolers look to the programs that will help elevate their game to the next level.
Well, yeah, and if you can win those in-state games, you impress those kids. High school kids are impressionable, and they want to go. They want to stay close to home. They want to stay close to their mom's cooking in the laundry facilities back at home. And if you can prove that you can win conference games, you give them a reason to stick around.
McCoy, third down. Middle of the field, it falls incomplete. Here's Ryan Neese.
Joey and Craig, we sat down with Coach Briles yesterday. He said it was a privilege to be a part of something that you're building. They felt like he felt like they were building something special here. Obviously, with the way the season's going, now the opportunity to move into a new stadium next year, there's some special things going on here at Baylor University.
In his sixth season, you see his overall record of 43-31. Texas forced to punt. Beautiful kick, fair catch by Norwood back at the 24-yard line, a boot of 45 yards. Martin breaks it, hard running to the 47. Martin picks up 13. Clock runs up on 2 minutes left. I'll tell you, the players on the Baylor sideline, they're just running around. I'm looking for a Gatorade bucket. It may have frozen.
Yeah. You know who I was looking at? Big Cyril Richardson, number 68, just came out of the ball game. A finalist for the Outland Trophy, a mid-season All-American, the Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year last year. Anchors that O-line for Baylor. Boy, what a deserving player to get the ovation from his teammates.
Linwood on the outside edge to the 44-yard line. A run of 9 yards. Well, the jumping has started. I don't know what to expect in this final game. A salute to the old man. Floyd Casey Stadium, 64 years. It's housed Baylor football, and it's going out in style.
What a way to close it out.
On a knee is Petty. That's it. Big 12 champions. The Baylor Bears, first ever Big 12 title in our brows with 11 wins, a school record here in Waco.
What a fantastic job Coach Briles and his coaching staff have done here in Waco to take a program that was really at the bottom of the Big 12, turn them into conference champions.
Let's go downstairs. Ryan Neese with the quarterback of Baylor, Bryce Petty.
Thanks, Craig. Bryce, what an unbelievable victory on a cold night. Your team battles back. You guys heat up in the second half. What does this win mean for you guys winning the Big 12 championship outright?
Man, I can't be more proud of this team. I told you before I won't know what to say. I still don't know what to say. I'm so proud of this team and these guys. I said it since day one, this is a very special team because of a lot of different reasons. That defense played their butt off tonight, and I'm so proud of each and every one of this. This is such a blessing to be a part of.
Can you describe the emotion and the mindset of your team to be able to pull out this victory late in the second half now?
I'm not real sure what you said, but if it had anything to do with emotion, I wanted to cry. I'm trying to hold back a lot of tears right now. I'm just so happy, man. I really am.
And Coach Briles, obviously, is the leader of your team. What does he mean, and how is his leadership carried over to you and the players?
Coach Briles started it all. There was a vision in his office that he told me about 5 years ago, and this was it. I mean, he means everything to this program, and so we're so happy and excited that he's part of it for not only this year, but 10 more years. We love that guy.
Congratulations. Enjoy the championship.
Appreciate you.
Back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Ryan. A fine performance in the second half by Bryce Petty, and Baylor pulls away from Texas 30-10. Big 12 champions and Fiesta Bowl bound. Baylor 30, Texas 10. We'll come back to Waco with more. Stay close here on Fox.